What up, y'all? So in today's video, we will be checking out what a George Pickens trade could look like here in Dallas. And before y'all hate me, no, I don't want to trade George Pickens. All right, I want to keep him here in Dallas. We'll talk about that in just a second. But I did want to check out, if there was a trade, what the composition of that trade might look like, what his value is, and what a follow-up mock or two might look like with those extra picks. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump right in.
Cowboys Nation, stand up tall. We'll never let our spirit fall.
All right, so the Cowboys traded a third-round pick for George Pickens last year, and I think it's safe to say he's outperformed everybody's expectations, right? We all knew he was going to be a good piece. I thought that adding him made this offense before the season, I was saying, just that much more dynamic. He's one of the league's best vertical threats. He's a pass interference machine. And so I thought really his specialty was going to be these deep balls. And you're going to send him on a few of those routes a game, throw up a couple balls, 2-3 balls deep every game just to challenge the defense. And, that helps their ground game get running. And it's all related to each other. George helps the entirety of the offense. And so that obviously came true. But what surprised me was that, he's not like a technician type route runner, but he's not bad. He knows how to use his body. He's got huge strides, very long strides. And so he was a slant machine. He was breaking tackles left and right. And I saw a player that I didn't know existed. He definitely outperformed my expectations, and my expectations were somewhat high for him in this offense. And so, what does that mean as far as his future here in Dallas goes? Well, like I said to start this thing, I think Dallas is going to extend him or have him play in the tag, since there are some character concerns. All right, he's late to meetings all the time, apparently. He has some effort problems on the field. When teams make a concerted effort to take him out of the game, you see his effort maybe get a little bit lax, and that's a problem. But with all that said, I think what he does for you offensively and freeing up other guys like CD and Ferguson and Flanoy to go out and make plays, I think that it's definitely worth it to keep him, right? And I would pay him. I don't want to tag him. I'll tag him and negotiate and try to get something done before the season starts. But I think it makes sense for where this team is at right now in this window they're opening right now over the next 3 or 4 years. I think it makes sense to extend this guy and keep him here in Dallas. The other option, obviously, is to tag him and play him. It's $28 million against the cap right away, and that hurts your ability to go out and sign other players because that's an immediate cap charge. I don't really want to do that, but I think that's definitely a possibility that the Cowboys go that route. And then the other one we're going to talk about here is obviously the tag and trade. So Cowboys would tag him, negotiate a trade somewhere, and then that new team would extend him at that point. So, let's take a look at kind of the value of what that is. So I'm basing my thought process on the trade here and the value on A.J. Brown and what the Eagles gave up to the Titans for him. And that was a first and a third. Now, I think there's some character concerns, obviously, with George that, I don't really have that big of a problem with, but I understand the risk and what GMs around the league would be looking at and willing to take on. And so instead of a first and a third, I think first and a third is possible, but I'll go with a first and a fourth just to make it maybe a little more conservative, a little more fair. So let's roll with that. And I was looking at teams who's some possible trade partners here. And a couple names I came up with is Chargers, the Bills, the Titans, and I settled on the Chargers because the Bills, I wasn't really interested in. They're picking a little bit later. I think the Titans are picking too high, right, to be interested in giving up a first-round pick for him. And so the Chargers are picking at 22. I feel like a first and a fourth picking at 22 here in the first is fair. It's adequate. And so that's what I'm rolling with and basing this scenario on. All right. What is his market value? I think it's probably 4 years. $120 million. All right. And so that equates to about $30-ish million a year. I think that's a very good market for George Pickens. He's not going to be the highest paid receiver in the league. He's not going to reset the market. He's not going to make more than CD Lamb. All right. And I know there's some concerns out there with David Mulugeta and how he negotiates and trying to skip the line to get his guy to the front. But this is a different situation. This guy's not like the elite of the elite of the elite. He's very good, a really good player, and more than deserving of the money, right? But he's not above other guys where he's going to reset the market. And so, 4 years, about $30 million a year is about where I'd place him. So again, Cowboys should do it, but In this scenario, we trade him to the Chargers for pick 22 and their fourth, and he gets that 4-year, $120 million deal from the Chargers. All right, and before we get into the mock draft, just a reminder, if you're not already subscribed, I much appreciate the love. Small channel, just trying to grow here, and we also do a cool thing on Twitter called Cowboys Storyliners. We're a fan page for Nick Eatman's Cowboys Storyline podcast. You can check us out over there. We chat every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Just had one the other night. It went for about 3.5 hours. Was an absolute blast. We sometimes get the guys from the Cowboys website to come on in, like Eatman, Chris Beam, the producer. We've had Tommy Yarish on there. Just a bunch of really cool folks come in and join and chat and talk football. And, with that said, let's go ahead, keep this thing rolling, and let's talk about the mock draft stuff. So I ran 3 mock drafts on this premise of the George Pickens trade. There is a stick and pick with your 3. Now you've got 3 first rounds. That's pretty awesome. All right. I also did a trade up. I packaged 2 of my picks, traded up. And I did a trade back with one of my 3 first-round picks to get more middle-round picks. And so let's go ahead. We'll start with the stick and pick first, and this is what I came up with. So using PFF Mock Draft Simulator, pick 12, Mansour Delane out of LSU, cornerback. And I'm not going to go through and spend a ton of time on describing these guys, talking about these guys. I've got a bunch of other videos doing that. You can go check those out on my channel on other mock drafts that I've run. But Mansour Delane, very smart corner. He's got some ties now to the Cowboys coaching staff. The guy they just brought over from the Cardinals is a DB coach. And so some ties there. There's a really good shot. Dallas takes him at 12. Got Akeem Mesidor at pick 20. All right. He's from University of Miami, edge. He's older. He's 25, had some foot problems. So there's my concern is more so with the foot, the injuries than the age, but instant day one contributor. And again, talking about this window the Cowboys are in, you're talking 3 or 4 years probably for this window they're opening up right now. He's a day one contributor, and he can definitely get after the passer. All right. Pick 22. We got that from the Chargers. That is now Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker. So a couple different linebackers you can take here. You can take CJ Allen. You can take, I've seen some people drafting Rodriguez. He's really moved up the boards, which is kind of crazy to me. But Anthony Hill, just a complete player, super smart, very athletic, middle linebacker, day one contributor. Some people have him ranked higher than my boy Sonny Styles, who I'm in love with. Sonny Styles, I think he's the best linebacker in the draft. Some people say Anthony Hill's better. So to get him at 22, pretty nice take there. I think he's either going to be a late first or an early second round player. But now we've got a corner, edge, and linebacker with our first 3 picks in the first round. Round 4. Michael Taff out of Texas, safety. All right, we need safeties. Probably 2 safeties, honestly. Might play around in free agency with them. I'm going to refer you to another video. I did a video earlier this week on a mock offseason, and we signed a safety, drafted some guys, and that was a pretty cool one. But I think they'll probably play around in free agency with safeties and linebackers. But here's another safety you can add. He's more of a developmental guy. I think he can play. He'll compete for a starting job right away. Super smart player. He's played against really tough competition in college, and he's a very good, I think, contributor on special teams potentially. So you're getting a guy who can play safety, can play special teams in the 4th round. And then we're only doing 4 rounds here, by the way, in these mocks. And my last pick in this mock draft is Jacoby Lane, wide receiver out of USC. He's a big body guy. He's kind of slender. All right, so his problem is he's not really a bigger dude. He can kind of get bullied at the line of scrimmage and man coverage, press man coverage. But he knows how to high point a ball. He's clutch. He makes clutch plays and clutch times. Really good hands. And I think he could be a nice red zone target for the team and eventually maybe develop into a guy to play alongside Flournoy. And my hope in trading away Pickens is that maybe Flournoy can step up and be your number 2. He was a really good number 3 last year. I think he's a great number 3 receiver in the NFL. We don't know if he can be a number 2, Flournoy, so we'll see. But we're drafting Jacoby Lane here to play alongside CeeDee Lamb and Ryan Flournoy. All right, so here's your 4-round mock. Stick and pick, all 3 first-round picks. No trade backs after your trade with George Pickens. So pick 12, Mansour Delane. Pick 20, Akeem Mesidor. Pick 22, Anthony Hill. 112 is Taff. And then 123, Jacoby Lane. All right, that's mock draft number 1. All right, mock draft number 2. We're going to do a trade back in this one in the first round. So pick 12, Mansour Delane. Pick 22, you're going to take Mesidor. But with pick 20, you are going to trade that to the Raiders. So your first round is going to be Mansour Delane and Akeem Mesidor. All right, so that's pretty good. Now, you traded your 20th pick to the Raiders. You backed out of the first round. Now, you could probably get maybe a first round pick next year. Maybe that's a little rich. But I did the formula evaluation here, and to get out of the first round with the traders, pick number 36, 67, and 134. The point values, Cowboys for pick 20 is 850. Raiders valuation on those picks is 834. So Cowboys actually a little bit of an undersell to move back out of the first round, but we're having fun here. So what the hell? Pull the trigger on it. And again, ended up with a little bit later this time, Anthony Hill. Again, we don't know. This thing's going to change 1,000 ways till draft day. Anthony Hill could go late first round. He could go early to mid second round. We don't know. We don't know if a team's going to fall in love with him. We don't know. But to get Anthony Hill at pick number 36, I think is a big win. All right, and then the third round pick 67, we're taking Kamari Ramsey, safety out of USC. Now, here's a guy who is a very smart player, super smart player. Can use him as a chess piece kind of anywhere on the field. You can play him deep, play him in the box. You can blitz him. He can do a little bit of everything. Where he struggles a little bit is his tackling. Had I think it was an 18% missed tackle rate. And so could use some help there, obviously. And missed tackles is something that's plagued this defense. But a lot of upside potential here with this safety. And I think with proper coaching, I think they can really utilize this guy as a multi-tool here in the secondary. Round 4, pick 112, Julian Neal out of Arkansas, cornerback. He is outside guy, outside corner. Again, he's a sticky guy. He's smart. He can cover man, play some zone. He's aggressive, good tackler. Where he struggles, though, is his speed. Vertical routes, he can get burned if he's not careful. He runs an unofficial 4.58 40 according to NFLDraftBuzz.com. And so that's where he's going to struggle, right? Is those deeper routes. But he's a strong player, can get his hands on these receivers, jam them at the line, and I think he could be a good piece in this defense. But you're drafting these guys in the 4th round, 5th round, and this is where they have some holes in their game, and that's Julian Neal. He's not a complete player, but a guy who can develop into maybe a player that can see the field in certain packages. Once again, you're going to see here Jacoby Lane, pick 123, receiver out of USC. You're going to see that common thread there. And there's a lot of commonality in these mock drafts. There's guys that I really like that if they're on the board when I'm picking, they're going to get taken. And Mansour Delane's one of them. Jacoby Lane's another guy, in round 4. I think that's tremendous value in round 4 for Jacoby Lane. Then last but not least, round 4, pick 134, Mike Washington Jr., running back out of Arkansas. Now, I make this pick assuming that Javonte Williams is no longer in Dallas. If he's still there, you don't need to take a running back. You've got Javonte, Jaden Blue, you've got Hunter Lipke, you've got, obviously, Phil Maffa. So you've got a bunch of guys trying to get snaps. No need to throw another name in there unless he's a high-end player. But Mike Washington, he's an all-around back. Has enough power to do some damage in the middle. He also has decent breakaway speed. He's a workhorse, right? He can do a little bit of everything. His pass pro needs a little bit of help, but he's a guy that you can pair with Jaden Blue, and you're going to be all right. Some concerns around ball security, just like Jaden Blue. So a little bit of a gamble there. 2 guys in the backfield, both of them with ball security concerns. So take that for what you will. But final pick in this mock is Mike Washington Jr., running back out of Arkansas. All right, this final mock is where we had a little bit of fun. So before the draft, obviously, sometime in March, you trade George Pickens for pick 22 and pick 123, right, in round 4, okay? So you've got pick 12, 20, and 22. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to package picks 20 and 22, and we're going to move up to pick number 6. We're going to trade with the Browns. Pick number 6 for 2 first-round picks, okay? And the valuation there, you're also getting pick 147, so that's a 5th rounder. But the valuation there for the point value assigned, it's 1630 for the Cowboys, 1632 for the Browns. So basically dead even trade as far as the valuation of the points go. Okay, so what does that mean? What happened in this mock draft? Round 1, pick 6, the Dallas Cowboys select safety, Ohio State, Caleb Downs. Boom. Draft over. You already won. He's the best player in the draft. the most sure thing I think this draft has. Super duper blue chip. He's a blue chip. I don't know what's better than a blue chip, but that's what he is. Best player in the draft. You couldn't get a better guy for this team, for your DC, for this secondary. All right, you can play Caleb Downs everywhere. He's an absolute maniac. He can play in the box. He can cover. A great tackler. Great instincts. Just check marks every single box that you could imagine. Welcome to the Cowboys, Caleb Downs. All right, pick number 12. And I consider doing some trade downs and stuff here too, but I don't want to get funky with it. We already did a big trade. And not often do you see multiple trades like that in one draft. So we're going to stick a pick here at 12. And again, we're going to go to Ohio State. Welcome to the Cowboys, linebacker Sonny Styles. So in the first two picks, we got Caleb Downs and we got Sonny Styles. If that's not transformative for this defense, I don't know what is. Go sign yourself Trey Hendrickson in free agency. Go get yourself a corner. You're good. I mean, that's those first two picks. It's a grand slam. You couldn't do any better. Best linebacker in the draft. Best safety and probably overall player, in my opinion, in the entire draft. Just a killer first two picks. All right, and then we're going to go to round 4, pick 112. Again, Julian Neal, we just talked about him. Corner out of Arkansas. And then wide receiver. Guess who? Jacoby Lane out of USC. So this mock, you got Caleb Downs, Sonny Styles, Julian Neal, and Jacoby Lane. I think that's a pretty good first 4 picks. Obviously, you got a bunch of 5th rounders and beyond to go through at that point. But man, that's a really good start on this defensive rebuild. Go watch my other video I put out on this off-season kind of mock situation. You can see a bunch of names that I'm going to look at in free agency. You go get yourself a Trey Hendrickson to a deal with some health-based incentives, games played incentives in there. It goes on yourself a corner, a decent corner, linebacker. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do to free up money. I go through all that in that video, but you go have yourself a good free agency and then you have a draft like this. Are you kidding me? I think you'd find yourself well on your way to being a true contender in this season. Now, all that said, right, it all starts with trading George Pickens. And again, going back, if it turned out like this is a grand slam. This would be I think, very difficult reality to actually have occur, right? This was more for fun than anything else. It's possible, I guess, if you trade him and then bundle your picks, package them, and then move up. I mean, you can do it. It's doable. You just got to find yourself a trade partner, and hopefully you can get like a David Bailey. You can get Caleb Downs. You can get yourself one of those blue chip players in the top 10 at that point, and maybe it's worth it to trade Pickens. But personally, going back to the beginning of the video, I'm working on an extension for him. And it's not worth to me all this. There's a lot of risk involved with trading him away, hoping things fall your way, hoping you can make deals with other teams and all that. And so, safest bet, you can either play him on the tag or extend him. But I think he'll be a Cowboy in 2026. I think he'll be a damn good player for you for years to come if you do extend him. But listen, if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you watching. Please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment. Did you like these mocks? What would you do differently? Would you trade Pickens? Would you keep Pickens? I think we all want to keep Pickens, but I think it's also a reality that we've got to face that it's possible he could be traded. All right, so I give that maybe a 20% chance of happening, 80% chance he'll be a Cowboy in 26, maybe a little more. But let me know what your thoughts are. Appreciate y'all as always, and I'll catch you later.